Okay, today we're going to talk about the present subjunctive, but all we're focused on is forming it. Don't worry about what you need to know as far as like what does it mean, what is it used for. All you got to know is how are we going to form this verb. Okay? So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to look over here at how it's formed. So it's kind of like the commands that we did, usted and ustedes. You take the infinitive, you go to the yo form, you drop the o, and then you add your endings. Pretty simple. Pause it if you want, and you want to learn how to do that, whatever you got to do. Okay? Once you drop the o, you're left with your stem. These are the endings. You should probably take a moment, pause the video, and copy them down to your notebooks if you haven't done so already. Once you do that, you have to form your verbs. So we take the verb hablar. The yo form was hablo. You drop the o. You're left with your stem, which is the part that's not highlighted here. And then you add the new endings that were on the previous slide, right here. The verb comer, the yo form is como. You drop the o. You add your endings. Escribir, same thing. Escribo, your stem is escribe. After you drop the o, you add your endings. Pretty simple. Once you do all that, you've kind of got the basic idea of what's going on. But then we have a bunch of irregular verbs. So here are the irregular verbs, and basically what these do, let me see if I can show this a little bit bigger for you. Basically what these do is they have irregular yo forms. We did these before in class with the usted and ustedes commands and the -2 commands. So you go to the yo form, and then you put the stem by dropping the O. All these ones right here have dropped the O. And then what you have here is the yo form and the LA usted form. Because if you did notice 2 slides ago, yo and LA usted have the exact same endings. So essentially with this, it's giving you the yo form. And if you know the yo form, you can go ahead and make a verb chart similar to this for all the forms. Notice that all these verbs are ER and IR endings. So they'll all have as, ases, as, amos, ice, and on when you make your verb chart for these verbs. You should pause, write these down in your notebook. It's not something that I'm going to be teaching in class. Okay, next, we've done this in the past with the subjunctive, with the 2 commands. So we have the car, gar, and zar verbs. Essentially what we're doing here is we're going in the yo form of the verb sacar, which would be saco, S-A-C-O. You drop the O. You're left with saco, with sac, S-A-C. The C changes to a Q-U. So the stem for the verb sacar is S-A-Q-U. You then add the endings. It's an AR verb, so it gets an E, an ES, an E, an EMOS, an ACE, and an N. Same goes for the verbs that end in gar. Jugar, the yo form is juego. Notice it has a stem change here. Okay. Then the G changes to a GU, and then you add your endings. What you will notice while you're looking at the verb jugar is that nosotros and vosotros don't stem change. Okay. Next example we have is the verb almorzar. It is a stem changing verb. The yo form is almuerzo. It usually has a Z, but the Z changes to a C. We drop the O, and then we add our AR endings, which are found here again. You'll notice again, in the nosotros and vosotros forms, it is not stem changing. What does this mean for you? Well, on AR, ER verbs, if you can remember the present tense, I will have a list of these kind of verbs for you in class. We go to the yo form. The yo form, when we used to do Spanish 1 stuff, you got stem changes. Notice all of these verbs here have stem changes. They have them everywhere except the nosotros and vosotros forms. All the rest of the forms have a stem change. You'll notice volver and entender, which are ER verbs, have the ER endings. You'll notice the AR endings are on pensar and mostrar. Here's where it gets tricky. If a stem changing verb ends in an IR, okay, we stem change. So pedir is an E to I verb. So the yo form is pido. You drop the O, it's an IR verb, you add an A, pida. Okay? So it's pida, pidas, pida, pidamos, pidais, pidan. You'll notice nosotros and vosotros have an E to I stem change. However, what's complicated about this is the verb sentir. It means to feel sorry. It is an E to IE verb. You'll notice that the yo form has an E to IE. This has an E to IE. El usted has E to IE. Ellos, ellas, and ustedes have an EI. An IE, I'm sorry. But what's different is IR stem changing verbs have the same stem change in the subjunctives as they do normally, present indicative, that's normal. But in addition, the nosotros and vosotros undergo a stem change. The unstressed E changes to I. So you notice, even though this is an E to IE verb, in nosotros and vosotros, it's E to I. You'll notice on the ER verbs, there's no stem change in nosotros or vosotros. But in the IR verb, it's E to IE, because sentir is an E to IE verb. It's E to I in nosotros, vosotros. Dormir is an ODUE verb. So we have ODUE, 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 and ellos, ellas, and ustedes over here. But in nosotros, in vosotros, it's simply ODU. Here are a bunch of irregular verbs. You just need to copy them down. They're completely irregular. Some of them should look familiar from our usted and ustedes commands, like vaya was how you guys would tell me to go somewhere. Vayan. Those should look familiar. Dane should look familiar. Day should look familiar. And then some of the things you would say in class were like, no me des la tarea. Don't you give me homework. No vayas a casa. Don't go home. All right. So, we did talk about this before, and I remember in the imperfect, the verb is haber, and in the present tense, it's I, there is. So in the subjunctive, if you're using this, remember, don't worry about what the subjunctive means. I'll explain that next class. The subjunctive of haber is aya. If you would like, you could come here, and you could put these verbs right here, and just put their subjunctive endings, okay? If you would like, you don't have to. I'm not going to be checking it just yet. So we'll break down what the rest of the subjunctive means. But pause, rewatch the video, do whatever you got to do, get it right. Most important part is you know the endings, and you know that we go to the yo form before we drop the O's, because that gives us our stems. You got to memorize your irregulars, which most of you know already. Okay? Remember the stem changing verbs. Don't stem change in nosotros. In nosotros doesn't stem change. Okay? That's for ER and AR. But in IR verbs, we get E to I in the stem for nosotros, vosotros, E to I again, and we get O to U. Don't forget about these. That's all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed my awesome video. And good luck. If you were in AP testing, this is all we did in class today. I do expect you guys, because you're such wonderful students, to be prepared to know how to do this stuff tomorrow when class starts. And hopefully this works well, because I spent a long time doing it.